Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn. I use she, they pronouns, and welcome to All We Make is Good. This is the Make Everything podcast where I talk mainly about knitting, any acquisitions that I have, but I do also share some paintings if I've been working on any. Today is a pretty typical podcast episode. I have a work in progress with just a couple little updates on it. I do have one acquisition that just arrived in the mail right before I sat down here. So I thought it would be fun to open it up with you guys. I have one other acquisition that I am anticipating is going to arrive a little bit later this week. And my third and final advent calendar that I purchased for this coming December. So just a couple little things for today's episode, but I thought it would be nice to sit down and chat for a little bit instead of waiting until I finish this work in progress. So I think that's everything as far as introduction goes. So let me show you my sweater. I've been taking to calling this the berry sweater. So the last time I showed you guys this sweater, I was barely at all through the berries, I think. And it had taken me such a long time to figure out a good method of doing stranded color work with 5 different colors. I think it came out pretty good. This is, of course, unblocked. They exist on the back as well. I think the tension is a little bit sketchier on the back. I was trying to think of a good word for it. Sketchier probably wasn't the right word, but I really, really love how it came out. I decided as soon as I finished this repeat, however, of the berries, this one little section, originally I was going to do the entire sweater in these berry repeats, and I decided right away I wasn't going to do that. So it took a lot of effort. It took, I think, several weeks of me really pushing myself to get through this motif here. See, where's the light? I think that's better. It took me a long time of really pushing myself to get through this, but I really, really do love the outcome. I just don't think that I love it enough to go through it again. So instead, I went to Stitch Fiddle and I kind of played around with some striping methods, and so this is what I came up with here. I am just about to start incorporating the blue, and that will be the final stripe to kind of, mirror these little ones. I kind of expanded it down here. And then I think I will probably finish off with a little bit more white before I bind off. I think all of the cuffs and everything are going to be this double folded. So the bottom hem and on the end of the sleeves. The sleeves, I was kind of going back and forth with different ideas for the sleeves, and what I think I decided on is I'm going to do them a little bit more light and airy, and basically to me that just means I'm going to keep the same needle size, or maybe even go up 1 needle size to a US 6, and I will go down to 1 strand instead of holding this double like I've been doing for the whole project. I really like that idea, but I was stuck on the transition because I didn't want it to look funny going right from held double to held single, with like no transition at all right here. So I'm thinking what I'm actually going to do is like a small I-cord around like 2/3 of the sleeve, just around the edge out here, and then do it so it has some kind of a transition between held double and held single. I don't know. I would love to know your opinion on that, because I won't be getting there for a little bit still. What do you think would look good? Or do you think it's fine to just go right from held double to held single and it won't look that weird? I really don't know, because I've never done something like that before. My other idea was when I pick up for the sleeves, I'm going to go right into these colored bands. So my other idea was to do like a frill all the way around with the different colors. So the rainbow frill would go around and then the sleeve would come out underneath. But I didn't know if that would be too busy because it's got a lot going on the top already. I really can't decide. I would love to hear some opinions on that. I think that would really help me figure this out. The ends on this project were such a nightmare. This is the inside. And you can see I opted to just tie knots every time I change colors. So yeah, for the most part, it's literally just about tying knots everywhere. There are still some on the ends here at the very edge of the motif where I haven't tied them in yet. But for the most part, everything is tied and squared away. I thought I would show you the pile of ends that came out of that section. And again, that's not even all of them, but I feel like I want to do something with this, but I don't know what. And I don't know if I want to just save it until I'm gonna do like a stuffed animal or something and then just use these to stuff it. I don't know if I really want to hang on to them that long because I have no idea when the next time I'll be making a stuffed animal is. And I've been thinking about doing, instead of like knit or crocheted stuffed animals like Myrtle here, I've been thinking about doing felted stuffed animals, like felted dolls, in which case I wouldn't really need those because that's all acrylic scraps. And I tried looking up to see if you can felt acrylic, and the general answer is no. Like, I think you can, but it's just not the same. So I don't know what to do with all those ends. I don't know yet. But I'm really excited about this. So I think I'm going to finish the body within the next day or two. I've been doing basically one color stripe every day so far once I got onto the plain stockinette section of this garment. So I'm really, really excited for it. I cannot wait to wear it. I think this is one of the first garments where I finally really understood how deep to make the armhole so that it's not so big. Because you can see on what I'm wearing right now, this is another me make. This is a basic drop shoulder sweater with an exposed 3-needle bind off. Those were really the only details that I added for this. But the armholes, I always make them very deep. So when I lift my arms, I'm finding that most of my sweaters come up very high on my body when I raise my arms, which doesn't really bother me too much. But at the same time, I would like to have like a single garment that doesn't do that. So I think I finally managed to figure out the correct depth. Oops, let me get that hair off. The correct depth of this armhole so that it will fit, it won't be too tight, and it won't be too loose. So I'm really excited about it. This is once again being knit on a US 5, and I'm holding, let me get it. There's 5 different colors of loops and threads, and this is a Michaels brand yarn, which is, I think it's like 85% acrylic and 15% nylon. It's supposed to mimic sock yarn, but with acrylic fiber. And they no longer sell it in stores, so you can only get this online through the Michaels website. And I have olive, golden, something, mauve, white, and then navy. So I really, really love how these colors are playing together in this project. I think the contrast between the yellow and the green might be a little bit too, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think there's quite enough contrast between the yellow and the green, but it's not like enough to bother me that much. So I'm pulling from the outside and the inside to hold it double stranded, and that's how I've been doing this entire project. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about it. Oh, I did rip out, I think I mentioned in my last podcast that I was going to rip out and redo the neckline, and I did, and I took out, I think, 20 stitches, to make this a much smaller opening so that it didn't fold down as much. It still folds down quite a bit, but I like it a lot better. And then on the back, I decided not to do anything about the color jogging, and I actually kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. I want to hear from you guys what you usually do for color jogging in your projects. Like, is that like an absolute no-go for you? Do you do your best to not have any color jogging, or like do you not mind it, or like do you like it even? Because I think I actually like it. I like the idea of having like something of an invisible seam down the back. I think that's actually really cute. So I like that on the back. And it'll be the same for the sleeves too. It'll just have, I'm not even going to worry about fixing the color lines. So I like it. So that is the berry sweater. I don't think I have anything else to say about it right now. But I definitely would love to hear from you guys what your opinions are on the sleeves and the color jogging. So I thought we would open up this package, and this is a single skein of another one-of-a-kind colorway from Barnyard Knits. This was one-of-a-kind H, and I believe she made 3 skeins of it, and I was originally going back and forth on buying all 3. And then when I finally decided to go check out and buy all 3 for a sweater, somebody had bought one of them. So I was like, well, I can't make a whole fingering weight sweater with just 2 of them, not for my size. So I bought just one, and I actually don't have like a clear vision of what I want to do with it quite yet. So I might either end up making socks or saving it for a bigger project where I can do color work with it or something like that. But this is the one-of-a-kind colorway. And it is very me. It feels very spring to me. So it feels to me like, I don't know, like a flowering bush in springtime. I think it's so pretty. One-of-a-kind H. I love speckly yarns. I love that this has like pinkish tinges to it. It feels like a flower garden to me. So I really, really love this color. So that's my Barnyard Knits purchase. This is the one that has arrived. And I have also bought, that can stay there. I have also bought 3 additional skeins from Barnyard Knits a few days later. She posted a flash sale of 15% off, and she had dyed up white pumpkin was the colorway, on like the most luxurious base I've ever seen. I think it was 70 or 80% baby alpaca, and then some percentage of cashmere and some percentage of silk, and it just looked like a dream. It really looked like a dream, and it was $38 a skein, which I know is like perfectly reasonable for a base like that, but I just couldn't justify it. But then the flash sale happened, and I bought all 3 skeins, so now I'm going to make myself something with that, and that's going to be the most luxurious thing that I own in my closet. And I'm thinking that I want to do like a nice rolled collar. I think there's actually a pattern. I think somebody actually made a pattern. I want to say it was called like Roll With Me or something. Oh my god. If you know what I'm talking about, please put it in the comments, because I cannot for the life of me remember at this moment. But somebody definitely made a pattern for a sweater that had like a rolled collar and rolled cuffs and things like that, and a rolled hem on the bottom, and I love it. It just looks so easy to wear. And I think it would be so comfortable with that kind of a fabric of like just nice and flowy and drapey and very, very soft, and just everything rolls, and it just looks so easy. So I think I'm going to do something like that. But again, once I get the yarn, I'm sure I'll have a different idea, because coming into the warmer weather, we've already had a 90-degree day here in the middle of April. So it hurts. I don't do well in the heat. I'm not a fan of the heat. My house holds on to heat. So my bedroom ended up being like over 80 degrees one night, just because it was 90 outside. So, and of course I don't have my air conditioners in yet, and I only have two. So one of them usually stays in the living room downstairs for the cats because they sleep down there. And then David puts one in his bedroom because he likes having that. So I don't even have an AC for my room. So all this to say, I don't do well in heat. I don't love it. But it means that I will probably be transitioning back to working with like all of my cottons and my lighter weights and my linens and things like that. And I will probably be straying away from the wools. But we'll see. But I don't think that I'll have any or much desire to work on sweaters over the spring and the summer and such. So those projects might change. They will likely change by the time I get to those yarns again come next fall or something. I'm sure this will all change, this turtleneck that this was going to be, and whatever else those yarns were going to be. I'm sure it will change by next season. So that doesn't bother me at all, though. I like changing my mind. So eventually I'll figure something out to do with those yarns. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about as far as acquisitions goes is I bought my third and final advent calendar for this coming December. It was by Pigment Ply, which is another one of my favorite yarn dyers. I actually have not been able to purchase any Pigment Ply yarn before. Again, I am only very recently fortunate enough to have the income to support buying hand-dyed yarns. Prior to that, I've been getting extremely affordable combs at my normal yarn shop called Patchis in Central Falls, Rhode Island. He sells very, very affordable yarn. So that has been how I've been sustaining my knitting habits. But I was fortunate enough to get a fairly significant raise and promotion earlier this year with my review, and that has been funding all of these advent calendars and all the hand-dyed yarns, and I just feel so fortunate to be able to do that now. I have a feeling I will slow down. I think I went a little bit overboard, which I tend to do. If I come into a little bit of extra money, I tend to go a little bit overboard for the first month or two with treating myself, I guess, with skeins of yarn, other big purchases that I've been holding out on and things like that. So I know I will calm down, and I will probably go back to primarily buying from Patchis again during the summer and such. So, but I just feel very lucky to be able to buy skeins like these now. And I hope to continue supporting my favorite indie dyers, and I will hopefully continue buying from Pigment Ply. All of that to say, I want to start buying more yarns from Pigment Ply and some of my other favorite indie dyers. If you know some indie dyers that are similar to, I think my favorites are Barnyard Knits, Pigment Ply, I want to say Zakami Yarns, and then, oh my god, there was another one. Who's that other advent that I just bought? This feels so terrible. These are literally my favorite dyers, and I can't think of their names. It'll come to me. I'll put it on the screen. If you know some indie dyers that do very similar types of colorways, where it's like lots of browns and greens and earthy tones and highly speckled and things like that, those are my absolute favorites. Let me know in the comments who your favorite indie dyers are that do colorways like that, because I would love to support them now that I have the income to do that. And I think that was, looking around, I think that's actually it for today from me. I don't have anything lined up after the berry sweater. I have no idea what I'm going to get into after that. I think I've promised quite a few people that I would knit garments for them. So I might end up doing some gift knits soon, but they will be like significant garments. One of them is like a big off-the-shoulder sweater, another's a dress. I promised David another sweater, or maybe I'll knit myself a cardigan. I have no idea. So I just want to get through the berry sweater right now, and then after that I will figure out what I'm going to do later. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you are working on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.